Here is a question most people in long-term relationships have never asked themselves. If your relationship ended tomorrow, not because you expected to, but as a genuine financial thought experiment, how long would it take you to be financially stable on your own? Not comfortable, not wealthy, just stable. For a significant number of people who have been in relationships for a decade or more, the honest answer is not weeks, it is years. And that is not because they are bad with money. It is because somewhere along the way, their financial identity merged so completely with their relationship that they stopped being a financially independent person and became half of a financially dependent unit. This video is not about expecting the worst. It is about understanding a psychological pattern that most couples never see until it is already a crisis. Psychologists who study relationships and money use a term called financial enmeshment. It describes what happens when two people's finances become so intertwined that neither person has a clear sense of their own individual financial identity. And here is the important thing about financial enmeshment. It does not happen because couples are careless. It happens because it feels like love. Merging finances feels like commitment. Deferring financial decisions to a partner feels like trust. Letting one person manage the household finances feels like efficiency. Every one of those things can be true. And every one of them, over time, quietly erodes the financial independence of at least one person in the relationship. Research by the American Psychological Association found that financial disagreements are the leading predictor of divorce, ahead of infidelity, compatibility, and communication. But here is what that research also found, and what almost never gets discussed. The financial disagreements that do the most damage are rarely about overspending or debt. They are about financial power, who controls the money, who understands the full financial picture, and who would be genuinely lost without the other person's financial knowledge. Financial enmeshment does not just create relationship risk, it creates individual financial vulnerability, for whichever person has quietly become the less financially informed one. Let me give you the data that most people find genuinely confronting. Gray divorce is the term researchers use for divorce among people over 50. And while divorce rates have declined overall in most Western countries, gray divorce has doubled over the last 3 decades. The financial consequences are severe, and they are not evenly distributed. Research published in the Journals of Gerontology found that women who experience gray divorce see their standard of living fall by an average of 45%. Men who experience gray divorce see their standard of living fall by around 21%. The gap between those two numbers is not explained by income differences alone. It is explained by financial enmeshment. The person who deferred financial decisions during the relationship is the person who pays most heavily when the relationship ends. The person who did not maintain their own financial identity is the person who has to rebuild one from scratch at 50 or 60, with whatever time and energy they have left. And the research makes one more finding that is worth sitting with. Most of the people in that situation did not see it coming. Not because they were naive, because financial enmeshment is invisible until the moment it is not. I want to ask you something directly, and I want you to answer honestly, just for yourself. In your current or most recent relationship, who would you say has the stronger understanding of the full financial picture? Who knows exactly what you own, what you owe, what the investments are, what the insurance is, and what would need to happen if the other person was suddenly not there? Comment below with one word: me, them, or equal. I want to understand how common the financial knowledge gap actually is in this audience. Here is how financial enmeshment compounds over time. In the first years of a relationship, both people usually have a reasonable sense of their own financial standing. They have their own accounts, their own credit history, their own financial habits. Then, life happens. Joint accounts get opened. One person takes over the investments because they are more interested. One person handles the tax returns because they always have. One person's career takes priority and the other adjusts around it. None of these decisions are wrong in isolation, but each one is a small transfer of financial knowledge and financial power from one person to the other. And after 10 or 15 or 20 years of small transfers, one person in the relationship has become the financial expert for both of them, and the other person has become financially dependent in ways they never consciously chose. The dependency is not dramatic. It does not feel like dependency. It feels like a comfortable division of labor. Until it does not. And then the person who has been the less financially informed one has to learn everything they deferred, at the worst possible moment, under the worst possible conditions. So what do you actually do with this? 3 specific protections, each one designed to work within a healthy relationship, not against it. Protection 1. Maintain your own financial identity. This means keeping at least one financial account that is entirely your own, that you fund regularly, and that you manage independently of your partner. This is not a secret account. It is not preparation for leaving. It is the financial equivalent of maintaining your own identity within a relationship, which every relationship psychologist will tell you is one of the most important things you can do for the long-term health of the relationship itself. A person with their own financial identity brings more confidence, more clarity, and more equality to a relationship than a person who has completely financially merged. Protection 2. Build full financial literacy of your shared life. Regardless of who manages the finances in your household, both people should know the complete financial picture, where every account is, what every investment holds, what insurance exists and what it covers, what the mortgage or rental situation is, what the will says, what would need to happen if your partner was suddenly not there. Set aside one evening a year to review the complete household financial picture together. Not to manage it, just to know it. Knowledge is not control, but ignorance is always vulnerability. Protection 3. Build a financial floor that is yours alone. A financial floor is the minimum level of financial security that you could sustain independently, without your partner's income, for a defined period of time. Not indefinitely, not comfortably, just long enough to stabilize, to make considered decisions rather than desperate ones, and to avoid making permanent financial choices under temporary emotional pressure. Most financial advisors suggest 3 to 6 months of personal expenses as a minimum financial floor. In a long-term relationship, a year is more realistic given the complexity of disentangling shared finances. If you want to understand the broader financial psychology behind why intelligent people in stable relationships end up financially vulnerable, Suze Orman's book, Women and Money, covers this territory in more depth than almost anything else written on the subject. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments below. The divorce-proof wealth strategy is not about expecting your relationship to end. It is about understanding that financial independence within a relationship is not a threat to the relationship. It is one of the things that makes a relationship sustainable. The couples with the healthiest financial relationships are not the ones who merged everything. They are the ones where both people remained financially capable individuals who chose to build something together. The choice part matters. You cannot genuinely choose to build something together if you have lost the ability to stand alone. Save this one and send it to someone who you think needs to hear it, not because their relationship is in trouble, but because financial independence is worth thinking about before you ever need it. Subscribe if you are tired of knowing what to do and still not doing it. And if you want to understand the specific financial gap that builds up quietly over years of caregiving decisions and never appears on any statement, that video is right here. I will see you there.